Hi class. In this section, I would essentially like to go through objectives that you should be able to get through, which is 5.3 and 5.4, and give you the overview and what you should ideally learn from these chapters. And you can follow along with your book, look at your PowerPoints, and I will certainly throw some videos up for you as well on these objectives. And you will find them in the reading, listening, and viewing section. Once you click the hyperlink on top of the first introduction of the section. Okay, so here we go. The first thing in objective 5.3 that we want to learn, what is the outcome, is you want to look at describing each of Miles and Snow's 4 adaptive strategies. And that is going to be the prospector strategy, is one which an organization continually innovates by finding and exploiting new products and market opportunities. Look at the defender strategy, and that's characterized by the search for market stability and producing only a limited product line directed at a narrow segment of the total potential market. There's the analyzer strategy, is one of analysis and limitation. And finally, there is the reactor strategy, and that is the lack of a coherent strategic plan or an apparent means of competing. So, according to Porter, we want to know what are the 2 types of competitive advantage. Well, competitive advantage can come from either having the lowest cost in the industry or from possessing significant and desirable differences from competitors. The other thing you want to be able to do is describe each of Porter's generic competitive strategies. They are going to be as follows: cost leadership strategy, differentiation strategy, a cost focuser, and the differentiation focuser. The cost leadership strategy is the one where an organization strives to have the lowest cost in its industry and produces products or services from a broad customer base. Differentiation strategy is a strategy which the organization competes on the basis of different and they compete on the basis of providing unique or different products or services with features that customers want, such as value, and these features are different and they're willing to pay an added price for that. A cost focuser competes by having lower costs than the overall industry cost leader in specific and narrow niches. Then there's the differentiation focuser, and that can use whatever forms of differentiation the broad differentiator might use. For example, product features, product innovations, product quality, customer responsiveness, or whatever. The only difference is that the focuser is specializing in one or a few segments instead of all the market segments. Here's a term, and I think there was a song years ago that was called "Stuck in the Middle with You," but what does it mean to be stuck in the middle? Stuck in the middle happens when an organization isn't successfully pursuing either a low cost or a differentiation competitive advantage. An organization becomes stuck in the middle when its costs are too high to compete with the low-cost leader or when its products and services aren't differentiated enough to compete with the differentiator. So we also want to know what is the integrated low-cost differentiation strategy and how does it contradict the concept behind Porter's generic competitive strategy. Well, an integrated low-cost differentiation strategy is where an organization develops a competitive advantage by achieving low costs and higher levels of differentiation. So it definitely has a differentiation advantage. So these are the types of things that you want to look at, like Porter's mutual exclusivity. Then finally describe each of the competitive strategies that Mintzberg's generic strategy typology reflects. So there's 6, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 strategies, and they're all by differentiation. Price, marketing, product, quality, and product design, and finally product support. So be able to outline all of those things from Mintzberg. Finally, what is the learning outcome of all of this stuff? How do we know we're making a successful competitive strategy after we implement it? You got to be able to measure it, right? So how are competitive strategies implemented and evaluated? Well, there's what we call an implementing competitive strategy. In order to know how that works, we want to know what utilized resources we have, what are our distinctive capabilities, and most importantly, what are our core competencies? What do we do best? What is our branding the best? How is BMW differentiated from Lexus? How do we differentiate McDonald's from Burger King? How do we differentiate Apple from Microsoft? What are the functional strategies so they can continue to be competitively strategic in a very competitive environment? What competitive strategy is most appropriate for your company? You want to be able to look and measure that. How do we implement that strategy? Is it by cost? Is it by resources? Do we have distinctive capabilities? Is it all of those things? When you look at Porter, look at table 5.4 in your book, and it's very helpful in getting you to look at these competitive strategies. What about competitive actions? What are offensive and defensive moves? You want to also look at that as well. And then finally, how do we evaluate a changing competitive strategy? When the external market depends you to do something more or different, how quickly can you adapt? Are you reactive or are you proactive? These are the things that you want to look at. How is competitive advantage being successfully exploited? And that is basically what we're looking at here, okay? So that is, when you look at 5.4, why is strategy implementation critical? No offensive and defensive moves. How should we evaluate a strategy? So, bottom line, learning outcome number 1, know your functional strategies by product design, operations, marketing, the people, the HR, what are the people like? What are some of the support processes, some of the information systems? When you get to learning outcome 5.2, know what a competitive advantage is. What does it mean? What does it imply? 5.3, look at all, this is the long objective. Describe all the different competitive strategies. No Porter, no Mintzberg. And then finally, discuss how competitive strategies are implemented. How are you going to measure all this stuff? And that is it.
That's the chapter. Look now for all of the wonderful YouTube videos I'm going to put up to support that, and look at, drum roll, hypothetical number 2 for this week, which will be due next Monday, the 29th. Okay, have a great week. Bye-bye.